Did you know that Saint John Bosco had a Salesian order of nuns? In this episode, I would like to introduce you to one of the foundresses, Saint Maria Mazzarello. Though a simple peasant girl, she rose to great heights of sanctity and wisdom under Don Bosco's guidance. Despite anti-clerical murmurings against her convent, she continued to foster vocations for the daughters of Mary Help of Christians. Today, I'll tell you the story of how she cared for poor uncatechized children infected with smallpox, and how Saint John Bosco planned to demolish a house of ill repute so that these pure sisters could live in his neighborhood. The Miracles and Prophecies of Saint John Bosco, a project of America Needs Fatima. I'm your host, Matthew Miller. Subscribe for new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Although the daughters of Mary Help of Christians had no source of income, daily bread to feed so many mouths was never lacking. Humanly speaking, such a large family could have never survived without adequate finances to afford them some security. 90% of the girls who sought to enter the congregation had no means at all. Quite a few, in fact, entered without even a personal wardrobe. Yet they were taken in, and all went well. But one nun complained to Don Bosco, "Dear Father, postulants do come, but all or nearly all come empty-handed. How can we support them?" Don Bosco answered with these inspiring words, "If you only knew the grandeur of a single vocation. Let us never reject anyone because of poverty. If we have concern for vocations, divine providence will have concern for us. Sometimes we'll have to strain, but God will never forsake us. Tell everyone that vocations, even in poverty, enrich an institute." Mother Maria Mazzarello, who is now a canonized saint, was a peasant girl who, although ignorant of book learning, still achieved wonders in her plain, humble goodness. Full of God's Spirit, she practiced and taught her daughters a simple but sound asceticism. She used to say, "As long as you are vain in your conversations, you'll never have real piety. Don't envy those who heave sighs and shed tears in church before the Lord, and yet can't even make a small sacrifice or put their hand to a humble task. Do you know whom you should rather envy? Those who, in genuine humility, adjust to all things and don't mind being treated like a kitchen broom." In 1876, a group made up of 29 sisters, novices, and postulants left their mother house in Mornez in 6 contingents to found many new branches of their community. Mother Mazzarello gave the same instructions to all. Observe the rules, maintain your spirit, and win the hearts of young girls in order to bring them to the Lord. The first contingent of the 3 left for Vallecrosia on February 9th. They felt as though they were going to the ends of the earth. Worse, they were concerned about going into the very jaws of Protestantism. Their oratory school had neither a garden nor a playground, and so the sisters did what they knew Mother Mazzarello had done before becoming a nun at Mornez. They gathered the girls about them, taught them a little catechism, and then took them for a walk, stopping at any suitable spot to sing and play. Then they brought them back to the chapel for Sunday services and dismissed them at dusk, after giving out some small gifts. Such were the lowly beginnings of the imposing school of the Daughters of Mary Help of Christians at Vallecrosia. Meanwhile, Don Bosco was busy preparing a home for them near the oratory in Valdoco. He struggled from January until July to acquire the premises, for it was truly a matter of dislodging the devil. He wrote, "For more than 25 years we have had to tolerate a house of ill repute opposite the oratory of St. Francis de Sales. One can imagine all the embarrassment and dangers for the young boarders and day students. This has prevented us so far from starting construction as planned in front of the Church of Mary Help of Christians. At last, with the help of divine providence, financial difficulties forced the proprietor of the building to put it up for sale. Since the house is poorly located and badly constructed, it must necessarily be demolished, but the site is ideally suited for our plans concerning the Mary Help of Christians Square." He sent out a number of letters to the wealthy asking for funds to dislodge this evil house, for if it was not bought immediately, another bad vendor would step in and they would be in the same terrible situation once again. At last, he wrote victoriously to one benefactor, "We finally signed the contract for that infamous house today. The devil did all he could against us. I shall let you know all the hideous yet strange episodes of this purchase. For the present, I shall only say that finally everything is over. Thanks to patience, effort, and sacrifice, the devil has been defeated. After much hard work, 7 sisters arrived at Valdoco, where they were to take up residence. The house was so humble that it didn't even have a kitchen, and they had to depend on the oratory kitchen. The sisters, who now may look at the several old buildings in the square, can exclaim, "That's our Bethlehem." In the summer of 1876, the sisters did very well in an apostolate which went far beyond the normal work of their institute. They took care of boys and girls who were victims of smallpox at Sestri Levante. Mother Mazzarello accepted the task only after consulting Don Bosco. From the beginning of June to the end of September, 7 sisters were assigned to this work of mercy. On their part, it was a Christian and charitable mission, but the administrators saw it only as philanthropic. They were quite courteous, but averse to religion. Unabashedly, the sisters taught the youngsters catechism, had them say their morning and evening prayers, encouraged them to sing sacred hymns, and took them to Mass and Holy Communion. How mischievous both the boys and the girls were in the beginning. However, after they recovered from their illness, they were new youngsters even from a moral point of view. The administrators were highly satisfied with the sisters' ministry, and the sisters returned home to Mornez, quite pleased with their achievement. Then a grave battle broke out against the convent from outside sources. The grim hostility of the people of Mornez against the sisters didn't abate. Anti-clericalism was in full force at that time. The immediate cause of the dispute was trivial. A certain Mr. Pastore of the Mornez Village Council, a former pupil of the oratory, unfortunately, was eager to get a position of authority in the village and asked for Don Bosco's assistance. Don Bosco did what he could, everything proper to a priest's position, but to no avail, with the result that the man became angry, as though it had been Don Bosco's fault, and he made an issue of the matter with the village officials, asking for the dismissal of both the Salesian priest and the daughters of Mary Help of Christians, who were teaching in the local public school. Don Bosco managed to calm down the man somewhat, but considering the present uncomfortable and unsuitable location, he decided to move the convent to Gavi. The newly founded houses ran so beautifully that Don Bosco wrote, "The daughters of Mary Help of Christians do excellently wherever they go." However, these sisters were to encounter demonic attacks calculated to destroy the order in the form of a nun who claimed to receive apparitions from above when they were probably from below. So please subscribe and come back Friday to hear that story. But in the meantime, you might check out this playlist of all the saints Don Bosco encountered or had a great devotion to in his lifetime. God bless you, and Our Lady keep you.